Okay, this is gonna be the soft tissue mobilization sequence that I use for the upper body. You're gonna need a lacrosse ball for sure. That hits like 75% of it. If you're near a squat rack, I'm gonna show you how to use a bar for some upper trap and first rib mobilization. And then if you wanna throw in a foam roller, that's typically the easiest way to hit the lat. So let me show you with the bar first. So you would set the bar up so that it's, like shoulder height. You're going to, let me move my mic. You're going to kind of get underneath of it, and then you want to get the bar kind of on the meaty part of your trap. So make sure that you're not down at your collarbone. So get on the meaty part of your trap here, and then I kind of give the bar a little overpressure here, and then I'm going to kind of play around with it, find some spots that feel sore. Once I'm there, I can then kind of oscillate the bar around to kind of work that out. And then I can also play around with just pinning my upper trap and then tilting my head away from that side to kind of pin it and tack it down as I stretch. So this is kind of how I use the bar to hit upper trap. Some would argue we're also kind of mobilizing the first rib as long as you're taking like big deep breaths as you're doing this. And then let me show you kind of what I hit with the lacrosse ball next. Okay, and then after you've done the barbell work on your upper trap, I usually move on to the pec. You're gonna need a lacrosse ball. You can use a squat rack or a doorway, but basically you're gonna try to hit the meaty part of your pec kind of through here. You're gonna pin it, kind of lean into it, and then you're just gonna kind of oscillate your body around, kind of massaging that out. You can play around with height of your arm. So you can raise your arm up a little bit, work through that. You can also bring the arm down and kind of work through it like that. Then I move on to rotator cuff. So we're trying to hit kind of like right back here with that. You'll be on the ground, kind of get that ball positioned. You're gonna kind of lean on that side. And then once you hit sort of a gnarly spot, you're just kind of pinning it. And then you're gonna work on some really slow shoulder rotations. Kind of as we have that muscle tacked down with the ball, we're just hitting a little active mobility work here. After I've done the rotator cuff, I move on to the muscles that sit between the shoulder blade and the spine. So you'll get the ball positioned, and you might have to kind of shimmy around a little bit here. But you'll be on your back. You're gonna bend your knees up. The side of the spine you have it on, you're gonna then pull that arm across your body to get your shoulder blade out of the way. And then once you hit a gnarly spot, you don't have to roll on this. All you're gonna do is take deep breaths. As you inhale, it's gonna push pressure onto the ball, and then when you exhale, you kind of sink into it. I usually will stay here doing these deep breaths until that kind of gnarly sensation eases up. And then the last thing I hit for the shoulder and the upper body is if I've got access to a foam roller, I'll kind of scan my lats and see how they're feeling. You do have to be somewhat aware of you've got a lot of nerves through your armpit. So as you're doing this, if you start to get any pins and needles in your hands, you're pushing on a nerve and you need to kind of move on and move to a different area. But otherwise, you just get on your side, and then you're gonna just kind of roll here, hit those lats. The more you can kind of rotate the shoulder back, you'll hit it a little bit more, and just kind of work through that. But that's the sequence that I use to hit the upper body. So you've got the upper trap mobilization with the bar, you've got lacrosse ball to the pec, rotator cuff, and then the scapular muscles, and then you finish it off with foam roller to the lats.